Brother Kareem Muhammad, spokesperson for the Mississippi Justice Party, also the co-chair of the local organizing committee of Jackson, Mississippi. We are here today with our family, sister, as the English of the NAACP and other NAACP members. We want to first thank the media for coming out today and allowing us the opportunity to express our voices. We are here today on behalf of the Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker family, standing in solidarity with them in the request for maximum sentencing for the maximum crime. And we are demanding that the courts, we know there was a guilty plea done earlier this year. And we know guilty pleas sometimes mean light sentences. But we understand that based on the circumstances around these cases of this Goon squad and the victims that they have created over the years, we know these just 6 Goon squads was not all. But we are asking that the maximum sentence be given for this maximum crime of terrorism and brutality that was done throughout Rankin County for years. And we are also asking for the removal, demanding the removal of Lion Brian Bailey. And so as the English will talk some more about the efforts that we have done over the last few months in trying to get this action going. But again, on behalf of Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, Damian Cameron, and all those families that have been victims of this Goon squad over the years, we are saying that we do not want to have no 1 or 2 years that after the tremendous tragedy that these families have went through, that is going to take years and years for them to get over it. We don't want to bring this tragedy back to them by seeing some of these convicted felonies back on the street in a year or 2. So again, we are standing in solidarity with the families. We also have with us other individuals that came from all over the state of Mississippi. The Freedom Democratic Party from Lexington, Mississippi, along with the Freddie Chambliss of the Whistleblower Project and others that have came to stand in solidarity. So at this time, I would like to allow Ms. English to speak.
Thank you all once again for coming. Thank you all for all of the support. On January 24th of this year, a heinous, sadistic, inhumane crime, many crimes were committed. In fact, they added up to over 16 felony counts. What we are here for today is to make sure that these young men, Michael Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker, are recognized and make sure that they get justice. They need justice. It will not repay or give back to them all of the trauma that they have endured. There's no way that can ever be restored to them except by the grace of God. We are so proud of them for being the strong individuals that they are, and for them coming forward and not being afraid to tell their story. We know God is due all the glory for those 6 guilty pleas. Those 6 criminals who call themselves the Rankin County Goon Squad, which is an excellent name because Goon means stupid. And I couldn't have thought of a better name for them, and since they named themselves, how apropos. So, why we are here is to ask Judge Lee, not for sympathy, not for empathy, but for justice, that these criminals receive the maximum years that are associated with these heinous crimes. That is what we are here for. We have accumulated many hundreds of letters that we have begun to disseminate to Judge Lee and others that will be also sent to Judge Lee. And those letters are from people from all over the state of Mississippi who stand in solidarity with us in wanting justice in the sentencing for Michael and Eddie's torture that they received. We want these 6 goons to get everything that's coming to them legally. We don't want any 1 or 2 year sentences. And we know that the Honorable Judge Lee would do what's right and what's just. Now for Mr. Brian Bailey.
Yes.
He says he's just so ashamed and he just didn't know any of this. But corruption breeds corruption. And just recently, we've seen just how corrupt he is because of the lies that he told to get 8 subpoenas just so he could track his girlfriend and her husband. Now, you can't be a corrupt leader and say that you don't approve of what these goons did. Be sure your sins will find you out. And what's done in the dark will come to the light. We didn't have to go looking for that. That came to us. Thank you, Mr. Brian Bailey. Now what we like for you to do is disappear. But if you don't disappear, we have a petition. And that petition requires that we get 30,000 signatures, and we will get those 30,000 signatures to have the governor to get rid of you since you won't go on your own. Now, what you have done is created a culture, cultivated a culture of corruptness, of evilness. You did not provide adequate supervision or administration for your employees. You did not provide appropriate training for use of tasers or weapons. You did not adequately provide them with what they needed to know, apparently, that you just don't go creating home invasions to get what you want. And you don't torture people and hold them hostage without having justifiable legal reasons and without doing it legally. And that is the kind of culture that you have created, Mr. Bailey. I shudder to call you sheriff at this point because of the corruptness that you have created. So we are working diligently. If you are out here and you've not signed the petition, you must be a Rankin County registered voter. You don't have to be active, but you must be a Rankin County registered voter in order to sign the petition for the governor. We ask you, we beg you, we implore you. We know that we have, this just doesn't apply, the kind of corruption that we've seen. I've received calls from Black people, white people, Latinos, and other people. So it's not just a Black thing. It's a human rights thing. It's a civil rights thing, which is why you see the NAACP here today, standing in solidarity with the state conference of the NAACP. We also have the backing of the National Conference of the NAACP. These are the reasons that we are here today, and we're not going to stop. It's not going to go away, and we're not going away. We're going to get justice for these 2 young men and all the other people that you've deprived of their rights, which are probably sitting in jail right now because you planted something on them like you did these young men.
That's right.
Because you beat them into submission and probably made them say they did things that they really didn't do. That's and right. Then we got all these unjustifiable deaths that occurred under your watch, Mr. Bailey. We don't have a reason for why these folks died, other than it was just cruel and inhumane and sadistic treatment. We have people who died in the custody of some of the same deputies. Right. We know this isn't the first time that you've received complaints about these goons, but you want to sweep it under the rug. Well, we're here to take the rug off and sweep the dirt out in the middle of the street so everybody can see it. So we want to again ask Judge Lee to please give the maximum sentences to the Goon Squad. And we want to also make sure we sign this petition for the governor to get rid of, who is it, Brother Kareem?
Lion Brian Bailey.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, we would like to have some of those that have came with us to give their statement of solidarity. Mr. Charles Taylor, Queen Maati from Marshall Books, and a few others at this time. Brother Charles, if you want to.
Good afternoon. I'm Charles Taylor. I serve as Executive Director for the Mississippi State Conference, NAACP. On behalf of our state president, Robert James, I say to you that justice is due and justice will be served. We are here with the Rankin County NAACP and our branch president, Angela English. I want to thank the Rankin County NAACP and many others who have been fighting for justice for Eddie Parker, fighting for justice for Michael Jenkins. And I'll say to you this, that we are asking for the removal of Sheriff Bailey. That's right. Any sheriff that would allow for such inhumane things to happen under his watch shall be removed. Any individual who would do such a thing shall be punished by law in the harshest way. What we asking for is justice. These two young men's lives have been changed. Their lives have been changed, and we can't get back. They can never be made whole. But what can happen is justice. And so we ask for the harshest penalties, and we also ask for justice in their name. And I want to thank Ms. Angela English, our branch president, along with many others who are standing here in solidarity. And on behalf of the state conference of NAACP, we will continue to fight for justice for Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker until it's served.
Thank you. My auntie.
Here she is. Cardell, Brother Cardell, he wants you to come forward. Step behind Brother Kareem.
Once again, we stand here asking for justice because Mississippi doesn't know what justice is. Alabama, until August 5th, had me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest, but everybody knows about Mississippi. And it's about time that Mississippi change its evil ways. We will no longer tolerate the corruption and the evil that Mississippi and Rankin County in particular wants to put upon the lives of innocent people, especially the lives of innocent Black people. How dare you? We will not rest until the so-called sheriff, Brian Bailey, is gone.
That's right. All right. Cardell.
My name is Cardell Wright, the president of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party in Holmes County, Mississippi. I am here today because the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stands with the NAACP, stands with the local organizing commission and everybody that you see here today, demanding the harshest penalties by law given to the Goon Squad. Because all too often over the course of history, we have seen police officers who commit atrocious acts of misconduct walk away free. But now we have plea deals. They have pleaded guilty to these issues. So since they have pleaded guilty, we are asking the honorable judge to do what's necessary so that Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker can walk away, feeling okay that justice was served. Because so often, many sons and daughters and parents never receive peace. They never receive wholeness. They never receive comfort, only because the criminal justice system, because the law enforcement system will not do what is necessary in order to make sure justice is served. And we're also here because we have seen too many sheriffs going all the way back to the 60s and even beyond, walk away without any sentences, without any verdicts. These sheriffs, whether they committed these acts or not, are complicit.
Come on.
If the people that are under them, under their leadership, are committing these acts of misconduct and violence, it is on their watch.
Right.
It all starts from the leadership.
Come on.
And you cannot tell me that Sheriff Bailey did not know what was happening.
Come on.
We all the way in Holmes County have heard of different things occurring in Rankin County an hour away. So you can't tell me that someone that's right at home does not know that his goon squad is committing these atrocious acts. So many things have gone uncovered and unheard and swept under the rug. But today we say enough is enough.
That's right.
And it is time for justice to roll down like waters. And we're not going away. You see, we out here in the sun, sweating, because we mean business. We mean business, and we're saying that justice will be served, and we will be here every chance we get. And we're going to make sure that Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker receive the justice that they are served. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so, and as we close, I know there's many others
Reggie,
that
Ruffin,
would like to have some words to say.
Fred.
And we're just going to have a brief minute of two more others that we would like to hear of their solidarity. This is Fred Chambliss with the project a Whistleblower, and then we'll also hear from Reggie briefly.
Hello, my name is Frederick Chambliss, current former employee of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, former vice president of Local 1013. I am out here to show my solidarity and commitment to this group of people to bring justice to Michael Parker and Eddie Jenkins, as I am a resident of Rankin County, and this happened in my backyard. So I'm familiar with the corruption that's going on, because like you said, I've heard about it years and years. And dealing with the corruption in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, it's all one collective umbrella, and somebody has to do something about it. So I had to show my support. If we can't do it to one person, we have to do it together. So like I said, I'm with the Whistleblower Project, Frederick Chambliss, and I am here to show my support.
Thank you. Reggie.
My name is Reggie Ruffin. I represent the Just Cause Coalition of Dallas, Texas. I'm also a native Jacksonian, born and raised here. Go Chargers. So we're all here for the same purpose. We have watched, even from when we was born to now. When Marvin Gaye released a song 50 years ago saying, what's going on? Little did we know that here we are 50 years later, we're still wondering what's going on.
That's right.
We're still trying to seek equality. I mean, not just in this case, but in hundreds of other cases. There's a culture of divisiveness that we are still enduring, and we're still undergoing, and we're still having to peel these things back by layers, trying to reveal that, hey, these things aren't wrong. I mean, anytime you violate anyone's humanity, the way, not just the law enforcement, but corporate issues, political, we now have the criminals now are wearing badges. We have criminals now wearing judges' robes. We have criminals now that are carrying briefcases that are attorneys. And we can't just stop on this. There's going to be many more to discuss. But today, I stand next to my brothers and sisters here because we all want the same thing, equality.
I have a question for Sister Angela English. Understand that Jerry Mitchell broke the story about the salary that the sheriff of Rankin County has. It says that he makes more than the governor of the state of Mississippi. And according to Jerry Mitchell's investigation, 2 weeks after Michael Corey Jenkins was shot in the mouth and Eddie Parker was treated in such a way, it's saying that they were rewarded, not really using the word rewarded, but they got he got a $21,000 raise to his salary. Can you talk a little bit about him being the highest paid sheriff in the state of Mississippi with such atrocities attached to his legacy?
A corrupt system, a broken system. When we went before the board, Rankin County Board of Supervisors, we were told that they had nothing to do with the hiring or anything to do with the job performance of Sheriff Brad Bailey. But when you pay somebody to do a job, I think that means that you have a whole lot to do with it. And if you give somebody $21,000 2 weeks after their deputies commit these atrocious crimes, and you give them a pat on the back and you say, oh, this is for you doing a great job. And since then, he's also been paid. He's going to be paid to be
the safe
911 management people that did safe room, first responders, and all of those people who manage the safe room. He's now told the supervisors, he didn't ask, he told them that he would take care of that. He's been taking care of it for free.
I understand he's asking for immunity. He's asking for immunity.
He will not get immunity. He didn't get immunity for the Pierre Woods case, where when the man was lying flat on his back, that already shot him in the front twice, he let them unload while he stood there and watched. But he said he hid behind one of the large machines they had from the sheriff's department. So he didn't actually see them shoot him. But bullets make sounds unless they have a silencer on them, and they still make a sound. They unloaded 7 more bullets in front of his children into his dead body while he was
no immunity.
No immunity.
I understand that.
He's not going to get any immunity for this either. So he can ask.
Understand his undersheriff resigned all abruptly. Can you talk a little bit about people leaving?
Has resigned, and 30 detectives and deputies have resigned. They did it one day after the undersheriff resigned.
Wow.
So we're just wondering how you running a department. You hardly have any employees.
With the Goon squad too.
Yeah. But we know that wasn't all the Goon squad. That was just a small portion.
And that is the other part of it, is that as we're closing, that what we're saying, that we're demanding maximum sentencing for the maximum crime. We're talking about a crime that was more horrible than the fact that they stuck that gun in the Michael Jenkins mouse and pulled the trigger. We're talking about a crime that's more horrible than why they stood there and organized and decided how they was going to cover it up. A crime more gruesome than them terrorizing and waterboarding them. We're talking about a crime that is called under the color of law.
Right.
This law was created in the 1870s. It was called the class law, which was developed for mob law where law enforcement officers would be part of the lynching. So this law came out of that, and each one of them was sentenced and pleaded guilty to the color of law.
Brother Kareem.
This is a law that carries 10 to 20 years. Brother
Kareem, quick question. I understand that we're talking about Lion Brian Bailey on today, as you call him, but you also mentioned that, you know, we have black on black. You have black officers with badges who are treated our black men and women in such a way that you say that it mimics the systemic racism that has been bled into the black community. We have a sheriff in Copiah County who has not reached back out to one of his citizens who they're waiting to hear back from him, and he's a black sheriff. What say you about our black people who are holding those same badges and have that same authority, but not being accountable according to those who are considered victims?
Thank you. And you're talking about someone said it, I believe Charles Taylor said it, and then you're talking about culture.
Okay.
You're talking about a culture of police brutality. And so when you're talking about a culture and you buy into that system, then you be a part of that system. And many of our people that look like us has bought into a system of that our people in the community is not worthy to be respected. And so based on that, you see a behavior. It doesn't make a difference whether the uniform is being worn by a Caucasian or the uniform is worn by someone that looked like the person in the community. It's the culture, it's the training. And so that is why we are demanding a systematic reboot of this system, this criminal system. It must be changed from the bottom up.
When is the sentencing?
As far as I know, it begins November 14th and 15th.
I have a question. How many signatures did y'all get so far? Because the petition was it came out in August, right?
Yes.
How many do y'all know?
I'm not sure, and I don't want to misquote.
Right.
Okay.
We know that we are targeting 30,000, and we know we're going to get that. And we know there is no limit on the time that it would take us to get that until we get to that number.
Do you know what the exact time limit is?
There is no time.
Yeah, when we get the numbers, because
30,000
As long as Sheriff Brown is in there, we got time.
When is the re-election for him? If anyone knows,
He went unopposed. He was unopposed, wasn't he? That's right.
So
We are the one opposing him.
So where can people find this petition?
The petition will be posted online so that you can, the NAACP, the state and the national are going to help me to get it online. Also, we have the Lawyers for Black Justice that are also helping me to get it online.
Black Lawyers for Justice.
Black Lawyers for Justice. They're going to help me get it online. They're working on it right now so that people will be able to sign it, and we will post it. We'll get it out to the news media. We'll let everybody know as soon as we know. That'll make it less difficult for us because we really have to have about 300 people, boots on the ground. And not that we won't. We still will. We'll do what we got to do.
And also, you can go online to loc.nation.org. locnation.org. And on there, the petition is on there to be signed as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any more? That's it. Any more questions? Thank you again for coming out, allowing us this opportunity and the voice of the people to be heard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I want to talk to you all. Come on. So we just heard from Brother Kareem, and I asked him, how did he feel about people who are holding a badge and they're black just like the whites? And I know you guys are still waiting to hear back from the sheriff of Copiah County. What do you think is going to take for him to actually step up and understand that, they're taking this thing serious in Rankin County? Copiah County is the next county over. Am I correct? So what do you all need for the sheriff to do? Byron Swilley.
Byron Swilley. Like you said, we continue to go on. And that's what we got to do for him, to open up his ears and attitude of trying to help people and stuff like that. We had to go through this. We just had to go through it.
All right.
What he doing, like you say, he done had over about a month. Ain't got a call from him. Ain't trying to call him. No contact, no whatsoever. He's just doing what he want to do.
I understand that threats were made towards one of your children by one of these officers you're alleging who you filed a complaint against. Can you talk a little bit about that complaint, that threat that was brought to you and your family? It was told that what?
About a child that he could have killed my son.
Who is he? Deputy Marquis Lofton sent a message to you saying that he could have killed your son.
He was talking to a minor. Didn't have no business talking to him. When they got him, they had him in custody. And they got him down there, saying that we bad people and they shouldn't be hanging around. He shouldn't be hanging around us. So he told him that he could have killed my son.
Oh wow! How did that make you feel, knowing that a person who is your color, who carries a badge, said that they could have killed your son?
It's sad. It's real sad.
Did you make the sheriff aware of what was said about the threat?
We just not hearing about it.
Okay. Thank you. Can I speak to you for a second, brother? We have Mr. Fred. Can you say your name for me?
Chambliss.
Because I don't want to mess it up. Fred, hold that book up. What are you holding there?
I'm holding up a book by Mr. Britton Mosley. He's a former MDOC correctional officer in the early 90s. He was a whistleblower as well.
Okay.
He was connected to me by Miss Nicole. I can't mess her name up. But once he heard about my story, he's been reaching out to me and giving me the ropes and guiding me through what to expect for and who not to talk to, because he's been through this. He got.
Was he successful?
Yes, and he has 2 books, and he has a movie he's working on. I don't know if I want to say that.
Okay, but
yes, he's like a father figure.
Okay.
He's guiding me through all this because, like I said, he's been through all of this already.
So what do you want out of making people aware of the fact that you're blowing the whistle about the prison system in Mississippi?
Corruption is alive, and you can't do it alone. I'm sitting here thinking I can trust the people that was in my corner. There's so many backdoor dealings and corrupt people. When it comes to whistleblowing, it's like you don't even know who to trust.
Oh wow!
Your psyche is played on, and they try to make you seem like you're crazy. But when you have the facts and you can present the facts, they won't even let you come forward with the facts.
What were some of the complaints that you brought forth?
Particularly retaliation on me.
Okay.
When I spoke out, it first started with promotion. They wouldn't give me promotion, and I come forward and ask why. And they have all these different excuses to why they didn't promote me, but I had documentation showing that it was clear retaliation why y'all weren't promoting me.
Were these people black? Were they white? I mean, who were your superiors? Were they?
That's the thing. It's black. It's more black than whites. And it's like, they using the black people to use the whip.
Oh wow.
So it's like you got the white man up here, but the black man down here.
How long were you a part of the system?
11 years.
Wow.
11 years. And so now my union has finally decided to step up.
Okay.
They filed a grievance on my behalf.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. We're striking a panel with arbitrators, retired judges. So we got several judges to choose from, and we're going to go to arbitration. I'm getting my job back, but I'm going to go out the right way.
How long has this been?
This is over 2.5 years.
That's a long time.
2.5 years. And they just terminated me last month off of fake medical documentation. Get what I said now. Fake medical documentation, which we can prove that they use to get me out. And by their own standards and policy, they not supposed to even fire me based off of mental. They claim that they caused.
Okay.
They caused my mental because of them covering up my complaints. Hostile working environment, unlivable conditions.
When did you finally get somebody to say, you know what, this guy's onto something?
When the Jackson Advocate
newspaper,
Mr. Ernest McBride broke my story, and that's when I was like, okay, now I got something going on. Once he broke my story, it became more real, and people started believing. So that's where we at with that.
All right, thank you so much, Sherelle. Cardell. Can I get you guys?
Guys, family doing?
Good. Just I think he's out the way.
Sherelle. Listen. Lion Brian Bailey is what Brother Kareem calls the sheriff of Rankin County. Angela English, NAACP president of Rankin County, says she dare not call him sheriff. How do you feel about moving forward and everybody now getting involved? Because we know you were there on the front end. What do you think we're going moving forward? Will they get the maximum sentencing, do you think?
I believe it would be smart for them to get the maximum sentencing.
Because
they need to be able to show that this is unacceptable. Just like they'll throw us in the prison for maximum sentence for a drug like marijuana. They want to give you almost life for it. So they be trying to make an example out of one of our black men. So now we need to make an example out of them that this will not be tolerated and that they need to change their laws and change their training.
All right.
Get it done properly.
Thank you. Brother Cardell Wright. Now, you've heard that. Can you step into the sun? You heard that Sheriff Bailey is seeking immunity. What does it say? What message does that send to the ones who are already locked up? The ones who were a part of the Goon Squad? What does it say? If you're on the outside looking in and you see Bailey saying that I'm going to separate myself from these guys, I need immunity, what does it mean to you?
Well, the first thing, if Sheriff Brian Bailey is asking for immunity, that means that he is complicit in all of the actions that were committed by the Goon Squad. When you request for immunity, that you know that there are signs that point to the fact that you were actually a part of these heinous crimes.
Oh, wow.
So with the message that it sends to the others on the inside that already took the plea deal, we have to understand that it symbolized that I want y'all to do the work that I want y'all to do, but when everything hits the fan, I'm going to separate myself from it.
Oh, wow.
To show that I was not a part of it, although I was a part of it.
Talk a little bit about the $21,000 salary increase that Mr. Jerry Mitchell exposed. What do you think about getting a $21,000? Now it is said that he makes more than the governor of the state of Mississippi. 2 weeks after Michael Corey Jenkins was shot in the mouth and Eddie Parker was violated.
If the facts be true, that he received a $21,000 salary increase right after these atrocious acts of misconduct and violence inflicted on Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, then that shows that what he did is endorsed by the County Board of Supervisors. And I want you to hear me. These things are going on all over the state of Mississippi, and it needs to stop. You cannot pay these sheriffs out of public money where the citizens of these counties and state is paying taxes, and you're increasing their salary to continue to inflict harm on a specific group of people. Too often we have seen these things happen, and it has to stop. And we're sending a message to the governor of the state of Mississippi. We're sending a message to the legislative body and everybody that represents the people of Mississippi all over the state that you have to stop this, and we're not going to rest until this ends. Immunity cannot be given to Brian Bailey, and he needs to be removed immediately because he can no longer be paid with taxpayer money.
Now, I want to bring a family in to stand with you. Is that okay? I need mom and dad. Can you guys come here? From Copiah County. You stand on the other side. Now, we understand all too well that, people might be saying, well, they're harping on Lion Brian Bailey because he's a white man, right? Because he's white. Well, we got black people who hold the same title. What is your message to them if they are not taking heed to the concerns of the citizens? And right now, I'm speaking of Copiah County. We're still waiting to hear back from Byron Swilley, who is the current sheriff of Copiah County. And these citizens who are standing right here with you are only asking that he investigate some of the patterns that have been alleged by these citizens. Being told that you're going to go to jail. No, we're not going to take you to jail. We'll shut the F up. And body cam footage is not really a consistent thing, allegedly, in Copiah County. What do you say? Now, Lion Brian Bailey, according to Brother Kareem is his name, he has been put on Front Street and on notice. But what do we say to our black people who look like us, who have that same badge that Bailey has?
Well, when it comes to the police department, it is not black and it's not white. It is blue. The police department has their own culture. And once a man or a woman puts on a badge, a police badge, and giving them the authority, they're no longer looking at that. It's about what actions are they taking as a police person, a policeman. Now, here's the thing. What's going on in Copiah County is the same thing that's going on in Holmes County.
Wow.
We have African Americans, black people of color that are in badges that are constantly disenfranchising and targeting and discriminating against their own people. And that is a problem. And so what we have now is black officers, black sheriffs, black chiefs who are being paid under the table and selling their own people out and not giving them justice because they know that it's going to cause alarm to the people that those are the stakeholders in the community. So what the sheriff of Copiah County needs to do is, if you're not going to represent my sister and my brother, if you're not going to represent the people of color and the black people, then get out of office and turn over your badge to someone else so they can do the work.
Black or white?
Black or white, it doesn't matter. You are called to service every demographic, every person, child, man, boy, woman, girl. It does not matter. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do according to the law. There is no biases when it comes to the law.
I understand the Washington Huff was here in Mississippi talking to you about Holmes County. Shed a little light on what's going on in Holmes County to some of the people who don't know. Now, again, we're talking about people who are black with badges.
All right.
this is national media that came to your backyard to shed light on what is going on. Are you privy to sharing any of that information right now?
Yes. The HuffPost out of Maryland visited Holmes County because the situations that are occurring in Holmes County and across the state of Mississippi are reverberating from these areas, meaning they're hearing about these atrocious acts of misconduct by these police departments, not just in Holmes County, Copiah County, Rankin County, and all over the state of Mississippi. And they are taking notice, and they're saying that, okay, these issues are a problem, so let us help advance the story. Let us help uncover some of the things that have been going on, because we want to help you all in the state of Mississippi get justice. So it was a pleasure to have them take notice to do an investigation, because what we are trying to do in the state of Mississippi is get the powers that be to take notice and do something about this. So my brother and my sister won't have to continue to deal with these situations, having sleepless nights, spending money that they don't have, trying to get justice because people won't do what they're supposed to do. That is the problem.
There are alleged threats that they just found out about today, where a message was sent to mom here saying that Marquis Lofton, the deputy for Sheriff Byron Swilley, says that I should have shot him when I had the opportunity. I should have killed him. And these are allegations, right? But when will seemingly the intimidation stop? If it's brought to the attention of the powers that be, why is it that it's seemingly okay to pass a message from how old was the child?
15, a minor.
A minor, from a minor on to this family. Because this is not the only thing that has happened. Dad told me that he went to a local football game one Friday night and was approached by said Deputy Marquis Lofton and said, why you put my name in that? Because the word has gotten out in Copiah County. Why'd you put my name in it? And explain how he looked and the way he said it.
I was just paid my way into the game and walking, find me a seat somewhere. And I noticed that he was up against the fence looking at the game and stuff, him and game warden. And when I got up to him, he saw me and turned around, smiled, looked at me and asked me, said, hey, why you put my name in there? You know, I said, hey, I didn't have no other choice.
And the smiling alone speaks volumes. Brother Cardell, speak a little bit about that, and I want to trade them out, and I want to talk to you about OSHA with Brother Reggie Ruffin in just a second. But just the mere smirk on the face, allegedly, what does that say to your citizens who trust that you would do the right thing to protect and serve the county as the sheriff, and still no phone call?
It's an intimidation tactic.
Okay.
But see, what we have to understand is these police, these officers, they feel like they can do whatever they want to do because there is no accountability. So in the state of Mississippi, what we need is police reform.
Wow.
What we need is for the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and all of those departments that deal with officers to be oversight, governing oversight, because they can continue to intimidate, they can continue to harass, they can continue to threaten a 15-year-old child by saying that they would kill him or they should have killed him. They are allowed to do this because they know that no one is going to do anything. And it's time for, the governor take Reeves to do something. If you're not going to do anything, you need to get out of office because people are suffering and you are allowing police officers with badges and guns to violate the law, violate the Constitution of the state of Mississippi, violate the United States Constitution, and do what they are wanting to do and inflict harm and danger upon us. And so what's needed is accountability. We need judges who are going to oversee these cases that are going to make sure that these things don't happen and you make an example out of police officers. Because I know judges who have been victims of domestic abuse.
Yes.
And whenever domestic abuse cases come up, they give the harshest sentences and penalties. We need the same thing to occur here. Most of these people have served as officers in law enforcement, and it's time for them to make an example out of these people. There's no accountability.
The Poor People's Campaign talks a lot about the people who are disenfranchised and looked over, if you will, or not worthy enough to get the attention of the powers that be to make certain that things happen in on their behalf, or to make certain that the law is indeed followed. Thank you so much, Cardell. I want to talk to Brother Reggie Ruffin. And so with his case, he's talking about OSHA, that, you know, the things that were not implemented during the Frito-Lay era when Frito-Lay was here in the state of Mississippi. He's alleging that his father, who worked there for over 20 some years, was working there. He died subsequently because of the fact that his father was exposed to pesticides. Can you explain to the people who don't know about this case why you are so driven to make sure that this lawsuit goes before a judge about the Frito-Lay allegations?
Well, my father and numerous other people started working at Frito-Lay when the plant opened in 1974, and this was like a new beginning for us as a race, and for people in Jackson. We was able to move to areas of town that we wouldn't
only dreamed of.
We had a nice house, life, you know, we could buy whatever we want, do whatever we want. But it came at a cost for a lot of us.
Okay.
And for my father, that cost him his life. My father worked there for 25 years, and then when the plant closed in '99, him and numerous other workers there were surreptitiously dying off one at a time. People did not know what these were about. They didn't know what was cause and effect. They just thought, hey, you got old and time caught up with you.
And that's why I want to bring Brother Cardell in, because I asked Reggie Ruffin if his father wore an N95 mask, if he was covered properly, if everything was enforced in 1974. And I think in 1970 is when OSHA came on the scene. Is that correct?
Like 90. Far as the
well, according to what I researched, they put things into place in the 70s, but I don't know that it was enforced.
No.
Talk a little bit about the N95 mask and the protection and how OSHA, what it is. Let me frame the question. He's alleging that his attorney dropped the ball. It was time for them to do an amendment to the paperwork, and
amended the petition, and he allegedly amended the petition. But when I asked him about when he was going to serve, because see, I had a process server, because I live in Dallas, so corporate headquarters in Dallas. So I had a process server that was going to serve him. He never sent him the paperwork.
But the amendment was supposed to include the civil rights violation, was it?
Civil rights violation, OSHA violations, the fact that we were arguing about the statute of limitations that they kept hiding behind. You got a $38 billion settlement fund, but you're hiding behind statute of limitations not paid.
And so according to you, your attorney,
Guy
Rogers, did not, he failed to put in those violations so that you could paint the picture to the courts. Exactly. While you guys were there.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the civil rights violations, the things that were overlooked. What is your opinion on this?
Well, being not too familiar with everything, but what I can speak of is a lot of times what happens is once these corporations are established and they begin to function, what they're more concerned about is productivity and getting people in to do the work. But what they're not concerned about is the safety of their employees. And that's not just in Frito-Lay, that's in many different corporations around the state of Mississippi and even the United States of America. And then what happens also is once these people are exposed to these toxins and these chemicals in their system,
continuously,
as long as they stay there and the corporation is still operable, it doesn't affect them. But as soon as they lose the employment or the corporation goes out of business and they're not exposed to that anymore, then it starts to really take root in their system. And see, and what happens is if people don't really know and do an investigation of these different things, then people will die, and you think they're just dying because they're old or just things are happening. But people have to understand is every time there is something that is created or put in effect, there's always some type of notice that comes out years later of the possible exposure.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it is a failure for them not to amend it, because here's the thing: when there are civil rights violations, that means that they are serious, meaning it's affecting the well-being of the person. And you're not supposed to take those lightly. You're not supposed to let those go, because it's a human rights issue. Because when you employ people, you are charged with their lives, you are charged with their livelihood, you are charged with
their rules and regulations.
And the rules and regulations
that you abide by.
Frito-Lay is the blame for it. And if
allegedly,
they are to blame for it. So, and if there are civil rights violations, then they need to make sure that the people that were affected by it do receive justice for their service and how they were affected by the chemicals and the toxins.
Thank you.
Right. Matter of fact, this case was filed April 13th, 2021 in this court.
Okay.
And then the case got dismissed in December of last year. So I'm...
You're in the process of trying to get an attorney to take this case, is it?
We're trying to find another attorney to do the case. I filed a bar complaint against Guy Rogers for his alleged malfeasance. And what we're trying to do now, we're still waiting on them to come back with their findings. The Bar Association got this complaint back in January.
Okay, so I know it's a process.
Right. So here you are. Year's almost up, basically, and still haven't gotten anything back. I made a point of copying everything, every email, every text message. I left a dossier to show the path of malfeasance that I'm alleging in this complaint. And while I'm here, I'm hoping to hear something or just be told we still gotta wait. What I'm hearing now is that they gotta wait until December when he's supposedly supposed to be off a case that he's on now. So my thing is, why is it taking so long? Why is all this going on? Why is he still practicing law when he has this type of blight hanging over his head? Because it seems like he's been accused of numerous other things before from other people. So it just seems like we're seeing this pattern. You go through the process of filing complaints, whether it's judges, police officers, whomever, they seem to always slide through. And that's why I said we have to be there to stop.
Talk a little bit about your father's medical condition, because I know you said that you wanted to get an autopsy done and that you were told that there's a way to differentiate if your father had, if his lungs were damaged because of the pesticides or whatever. Talk a little bit about that.
I wanted to get an autopsy done, but I was talked out of it by the family members. They didn't think it was the need in doing an autopsy.
Because he was older.
Right, he was older, plus he was gone, and they didn't think nothing of it. But I just happened to find this out by accident about the settlement fund they had and what was going on. And I found that out like a few years ago, like back in 2018.
Talk about his lungs, how he coughed and things.
He had a horrendous cough, and he also, from what I understand from the examination that they had on him, that most of his right lung was gone and half his left was still there, but yet my father was still standing there, going wherever he had to go, doing this and that, and he had a very high tolerance to pain.
I understand that your case is not rare. There's a couple in Missouri. This young man who was electrocuted, who worked for the company, and he's alleging that, he had to go and ask them to give him a day off after he was electrocuted at work just for hitting one button. And then he goes on to talk about how they put private eyes on them to follow him to see if he was, making this up. And he talks about how he got awards for being one of the best in productivity. And then he went from that to being overlooked and shunned.
He's a pariah then. He's reprobated, because when you are dealing with a company is making billions. I mean, every year making billions. Them spending 10,000 here, 20,000 here to get investigators to follow you, to find something to love you also, love you more. So when you have people that have the resources, it's just like the police with the they're using taxpayer dollars to ruin others. These are all things that we're dealing with in today's world. We thought a lot of the racism and a lot of the bigotry and everything is gone, but no, it's repackaged. Now you have black people that are oppressing us just as much, if not even more. And those are all things that we have to put a stop to.
Thank you.
Like how you summed that one up.
So we are going to go to commercial break, everybody.
Quiet, everybody. Class is now in session.
That is absolutely correct. Kenneth Rags is calling all voters from Indianola and Moorhead to get out Tuesday, November 7th. Rags is running to be District 1's new school board member. If you want to avoid possible lawsuits in Sunflower County Consolidated School District, vote Kenneth Rags. With Kenneth Rags, teachers will have an opportunity to grow within the district. Kenneth Rags will support salary equity for all employees. Rags will address teacher shortage and turnover, expansion of athletic department, and more. Vote to elect a leader that we can trust. Vote to elect Brian Kimbrough for Sunflower County School Board District Number 2. Tuesday, November 7th. Kimbrough, a voice for the students and proud native of Indianola, Gentry graduate of 2004, and community philanthropist. Teacher support and pay increase, safety first atmosphere throughout the school day. Parental involvement from elementary school all the way until graduation are only some of the things on Kimbrough's platform. Kimbrough's accolades prove to be a testament to his involvement in the community. Remember, Tuesday, November the 7th, vote Bryant Kimbrough for Sunflower County School Board District 2.